My name is Major Brian John, State and Police Investigations. I want to talk a few minutes about gun safety. Over the last little less than 2 weeks, we've had 3 shootings that could have been very easily avoided and actually were inches from death. Unfortunately, one of these was a fatality. And just want to talk a little bit about the importance of gun safety. If you're a parent or have young folks in your house, to put your guns away, to lock them up. And additionally, if you have guns in your home and you are using alcohol or marijuana or other drugs, is to not be around those weapons when you are intoxicated or high. And I'll go just a little bit over some of the cases. The one case involved 2 18-year-old young men getting ready to graduate from high school. They were in they're good friends. They're in a parent's basement smoking marijuana and each have handguns. And they begin to play with the handguns by pointing them at each other and pulling the trigger. One of those guns was not, actually was loaded and discharged and shot the other young man in the chest, and he died from those injuries. So that's one of the cases that I just wanted to mention. The second one involved just more recently, a couple days ago, 2 young men that were both adults. They were inside their home drinking, and there was a rifle inside the home. They were taking their rifle and pointing it at each other while they were drinking and pulling the trigger. During this night of drinking, they heard something outside, decided to load their rifle in case it was an intruder. It wasn't, and then forgot the rifle was loaded. They then proceeded to point the rifle at their friend, pull the trigger, and shot him in the chest, and thankfully he survived, if only by a matter of inches. The last case I want to talk about, those 2 cases involved drug use and intoxication. The third case involved weapons in a home that were not properly secured, and that involved a 11-year-old got a hold of his mom's firearm, discharged it, and shot his 12-year-old brother in the head. Thankfully, that young man was about a half inch from losing his life, but thankfully he survived that incident. So I just want to take a time and talk to the community about that. If you have firearms, please secure them away from children. If you're going to drink or whatever you do, don't be around the weapons during that time. If you need gun locks, please get a hold of me here at the Dayton Police Department. We have some gun locks available for free to give to you. Montgomery County also has gun locks that we can give out and get to you in your hands for safekeeping your firearms. So I just wanted to make note of those 3 cases and take any questions that you may have.
So, Major, in addition to the tragedies that can and in one case already have happened, you're going to end up facing legal trouble.
True.
From a night of just hanging out with your friends.
True. Yeah, in those cases I spoke about, the one young man who actually took the life of his friend, I mean, he's facing reckless homicide charges through Mr. Heck's office. Even the case involving the 11-year-old who shot his brother in the head, like, the mother is facing charges for child endangering for not properly securing her weapon. So in spite of all the physical harm and death that could occur, criminal charges more than likely will result from these cases.
And one of the guys that was playing with the rifle probably will also face handling weapons charges or something.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. Weapons while intoxicated.
What was that one the one on Fowler?
I'm pretty sure that is. That is correct, yeah. That was on Fowler. The fatality occurred on Pinecrest, and the non-fatality with the 11 and 12-year-old brothers was on West Riverview Avenue.
I mean, these are just 3 within the last 2 weeks. But
less than 2 weeks, I think, when you actually, yeah.
But I mean, it's not unusual for your department to have to, investigate these type of incidents. It
seems about once per year we do a media segment like this just to speak of gun safety. And I mean, it's everyone's responsibility, when there's a firearm in the home, the adults, talk to your kids about not touching the guns, put them up so they can't get a hold of them. In the past, we've had gun safety classes here at the Dayton Police Academy, and one person showed up. So I mean, it's important that, you know, like we have enough issues in our society with gun crime, from like strangers and things like that, let alone to have accidental gun shootings that these all three could have been very easily avoided. And when I say that in the non-fatal cases that we talked about, these people were like a fraction of an inch from losing their life. I mean, and it's that close. So just something to think about.
And are these cases where they did survive, I don't know how much in-depth you can give us, but they're not gonna be the way that they were before. I assume they're gonna be dealing with long-term effects from this.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you look at like people who are shot, there's two types of trauma. There's the physical and the mental. So I would clearly say that you know, in 11 and 12-year-old kids, I'm sure that will impact them for the rest of their life. But just think of what would have happened if that bullet would have struck a quarter of an inch or half an inch. His brother wouldn't be here. So yeah.
I mean, some people, is there any charge that the police department occasionally, like you said, the mom's going to be charged with child endangering, but even like the two friends, they get a weapons charge, the one that it ends up firing the shot.
Yeah, Mr. Heck's office indicted him on reckless homicide, I believe, was a charge. Yeah, he was indicted.
And then the one where the two were drinking with the rifle,
That's still under investigation, but yeah, that would be like weapons while intoxicated on both the surviving party and the party who pulled the trigger. Yeah, but I mean, just the whole. I mean, I go over my notes before I do these things, but just reading through the notes, you know, I really shouldn't have to get up here and talk about people pointing a gun at each other and pulling a trigger, an actual firearm. You know, like you don't loaded or unloaded, you just don't do that. So I just want to, and thank you for all coming and taking the time to do this, because it's important that as much as possible, you know, we try to prevent crime from occurring and prevent actions like this from occurring, and that's why I wanted to speak today for a little bit.
I mean, kind of goes back to some of the things you've had where teens on social media will be passing it around and pointing it at each other, and we've had some tragedies like that.
We have, yeah, we have, like posing for social media posts and videos and not realizing the gun is loaded and pulling the trigger. Yeah, we have, unfortunately. Yeah.
There seemed to be a rise in, at least the summer, with social gatherings and people bringing firearms that want to celebrate 4th of July by firing their gun off in the air for some reason. Does that have an increased likelihood during this time as well?
We definitely see an increase in like shots calls, you know, during July 4th, New Year's Eve. And we do kind of see an uptick, you know, in shootings and stuff in warmer months. But I don't think I ever recall like 3 this close together. So we usually have like maybe 1 or 2 a year where this happens, but 3 within, I think, 10 days, what it was. It's very uncommon. That's why I wanted to just kind of get the word out. And we do have resources. If you want gun locks, please give us a call here at the City of Dayton, and we'll get you squared away.
And going back to the social media thing, what's your message to people who might see some of that behavior from friends or siblings or cousins on social media?
I mean,
Do you
you
guys get a lot of people who report that kind of?
We get very few people who report that. But I mean, my point would be like, if it's a firearm, you should never point any firearm at another person and pull the trigger, be it loaded or unloaded. If you're intoxicated or smoking marijuana, put the guns away. If you have kids in the home, put the guns away in a safe place where they cannot get them.
Maybe do you want to add that, like, you know, especially juveniles with firearms on social media, that, you know, you would hope that the adults or the parents or you know, people in the community would come forward or at least talk to.
It is,
that
and
person.
yeah, I mean, it is somewhat shocking that, I mean, I stood here, I think, 5 months ago, and I think we had a video that we played of a young child walking around in a kitchen, and there were 3 people like twirling firearms, actual firearms around, and asked for help identifying the people in the video, and we got that help, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, if you're like, you know, you're an adult and stuff, we do see a lack of parental supervision when it comes to firearms in homes and social media. and you really gotta watch that. I mean, and just like a firearm, once that trigger is pulled and that bullet leaves the barrel, it's not coming back. So that's why it's so critical to watch out for this and to supervise people and kids wearing guns, especially.
Are there any fears about summer getting on, it being a hot year already, and possible likelihood of more crimes like these happening?
I mean, as far as have we seen any increases in gun crime so far this year with warmer weather? I would say yes. In the last probably 5-6 days, we've seen an increase in shooting habitations, and things like that. Just met with the chief of police yesterday about those increases, and we're trying to impact those as we speak. So, and I know that's about the gun part as far as gun safety prevention. But if you have any questions about a couple of the recent homicides, I'll take them as much as I can.
There
So.
was two recent ones, one on Thursday and one on Sunday morning, that these bodies found that appeared to be homicides, number one, and shootings possibly two.
On West Grand?
On West Grand.
Yep.
So the
That's correct.
Thursday one was a 19-year-old kid. And the caller to you thought it was a stolen car that kids were running from. What is your investigation been able to show about that one?
Correct. I can't confirm that case. Well, actually, both cases on West Grand are confirmed homicide cases. The one involving the car that was parked there with the two people running away from it, we are following up on leads on that case as we actually speak. But both of those are going to be homicide investigations. The other one occurred down the street and involved the car that was caught on fire. So we have that under investigation as well and are following up. No arrests have been made yet in each of those cases, but we are following up on leads on both.
That first one, the Thursday one, the 19-year-old in that alley, that vehicle that was there had Indiana plates, but were you able to determine if it was in fact stolen or not?
The car was not stolen.
Was not stolen?
No. Nope. It was borrowed.
Is there-
Legally borrowed. I'm sorry.
Is there anything that Dayton Police can do besides providing gun locks? Is there an ability to provide classes or sort of?
We'd be more than happy. Like I said before, we'd be more than happy to provide training at our academy. If you want it, please reach out to me. I know Mr. Ryder has my phone number directly, 333-1110. We'd be more than happy to do training. We did it the one time, provided free pizza, and one person showed up. So I don't mind doing it as long as we get people to show up and actually, come there. And even that particular training we can actually bring your kid with you, right? So we would talk to the parents about gun safety and also talk to the kids at the same time about gun safety. Like don't touch, if you see a gun, and just the basics of gun safety. So.
Since then, have there been any have y'all developed any new ideas to bring more people into these gun trainings?
As far as bringing others in besides the actual parent or guardian or youth, none besides that, but just kind of those people there. We wouldn't probably bring in a bunch of strangers to that training, except our own trained staff at our academy who are trained they train us, right, on how to properly handle firearms, how to store them, how to make them safe and stuff like that.
Is it, this is far-fetched, but looking for solutions, people involved in either gun crimes or victims of gun crimes, or just, where you have violations or fine kids and stuff, could you, through courts, try to, impose gun training classes on people?
It's always a possibility, yeah. I mean, that could be part of sentencing, but usually that falls upon the judge or magistrate who has that case to mandate that. That's usually done through probation department, but it's always a possibility. I've never seen it done, but it's a good idea, Mike.
Anybody have anything else?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
For the instances on West Grand, and then I believe there were 2 on Bragg Place recently as well. Do you have any concerns that they're happening so close together, increased patrols in any of those areas?
We have. We do a lot here on gun violence here in Dayton, Ohio. And I will also say, the West Grand cases, we do not believe those are actually connected in any way, nor are the actual Bragg cases connected in any way. It is weird, though, to have 2 so close in proximity. One of the Bragg shootings was a domestic violence where the victim was shot in the abdomen, and she survived. But we do after patrols. We do violence reduction initiatives as well with staffing who are in the area, and both staffing, when I say uniformed and undercover detectives as well, working those areas. So, not just high crime areas or high shooting areas, but also individuals who are known to commit violent crime.